6:53 now. The President Obama is pursuing gun control on his own terms now. He's ordering his Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives to ban certain bullets. Edwin Walker, program attorney for U.S. Law Shield. Edwin, great to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, these bullets. Now, first of all, have we seen this before, this banning of particular bullets?
Well, the reason that they're taking another look at this particular bullet is because in the Gun Control Act of 1968, it prohibits armor-piercing bullets, which are bullets that have a solid metal core that can go through bulletproof vests. And the key to this is that it has to be handgun ammunition. Rifle ammunition is not covered by this as being defined as an armor-piercing round. And so what we've seen is that with the change in technology to allow for AR-style pistols, is that this is a bullet that can be used in an AR-style pistol, and that's why they're seeking to remove its exemption, which this particular round has had since 1986.
Now, the Obama administration, they're saying, look, this is for the we're doing this for police officers to protect them from getting shot. When you talk about armor-piercing bullets, does that make sense to ban those kinds of bullets to save police officers?
Well, the thing is that, like I said, the armor-piercing bullet is a handgun bullet. That's what it was. That's basically the thought behind it in the 1968 Gun Control Act, is that you wouldn't want criminals running around with pistols loaded with armor-piercing ammunition. Most rifle rounds are, in fact, armor-piercing, but those have never been regulated as armor-piercing. And so this type of bullet, the one that they're going after now, or they're trying to remove the exemption from, is a rifle round. It just so happens that it now can be fired from an AR-style pistol.
Okay, so these bullets are used in the AR-15, right? These, what are they called, M855s or whatever, 855s?
Yes, that's correct. They're otherwise known as green tips because they have a steel tip that's covered in a green Teflon that is behind a lead center. So it's the steel tip that they're claiming is the armor piercing, and since it can be shot out of an AR pistol, therefore it needs to be redefined.
Because these are pretty big bullets. These are pretty big bullets. They actually fit into certain pistols. That they make them that big nowadays?
Yes, AR-style pistols, which is like an AR-15 rifle, only it's small enough to be fired with one hand, which makes it a handgun.
So wait, does this? Are you saying the Obama administration has legal grounds to ban these bullets now?
Well, they have. These bullets have been. Keep in mind, this is not new technology. This is not some sort of brand new bullet that people have made and now they're having to go back and try to regulate it. This bullet's been on the market for decades. And in 1986, the ATF determined that this bullet was exempted from the prohibition on armor-piercing rounds because it had a sporting purpose. Now, since 1986, its sporting purpose has not changed, and in fact, there's not one single documented case that I am aware of where a police officer was shot with one of these bullets from a handgun.
Okay, but wait, these AR-style pistols you're describing, are those relatively new?
They're not relatively new, but they are becoming more.
Yeah.
In fact, development with regard to the.
Okay, you're in and out slightly. I'm talking to Edwin Walker with U.S. Law Shield. Let me see if we can hold on to you for just a moment more. Then, so you said they're not relatively new. They've been around.
Having a stabilizer brace that fits around their forearm in order to help them stabilize the AR-15 pistol platform. The ATF said it's okay, but you can't use it as a shoulder stock. And it caused a lot of confusion in the firearm industry. So the ATF is, under its new direction, it does seem to be hyper-regulating these AR-style pistols.
Well, they're executing the will of the president, apparently. What is the sporting purpose of something that pierces armor?
Well, the sporting purpose for the round is that it's primarily being used as target ammunition. And like I said, that's its use. There's not, that these are the only people that buy this type of ammunition are people who shoot the AR-15 for sport, for target practice. It's not a round that is sweeping the criminal underworld. Right. And like I said, there's no documentation of this particular round ever being fired at a police officer from a handgun.
And why has that not happened? Because police officers have certainly get shot at plenty. Why have we not seen this particular bullet shot at them?
Well, because the AR pistol is still a very large handgun. It's not going to be the type of handgun that is used in a lot of criminal activity. It is used primarily for sporting purposes, and so I'm assuming that's why it hasn't been. That's why the criminals are not using it, because it's not that easy to get a hold of.
Right.
You're certainly not. The AR pistol is certainly a far cry from the old Saturday Night Special, which back whenever the anti-gun folks were asking for handgun control, that was always their go-to gun that they wanted to ban was the Saturday Night Special. But the AR-15 pistol is a very sophisticated pistol. It's not cheap, and you just it's not something that the criminal underworld has worked into its weapons of choice.
Right. So the president makes this move on these bullets. I mean, does it really have any real impact in the gun world?
Well, it certainly. This is what we would call the proverbial camel's nose. And if the ATF, if they don't meet much resistance, which they have a 30-day comment period before they're allowed to change the regulation, and the comment period is half over now. It goes until March 16th. And if they don't, if gun owners basically don't speak up, maybe they don't have AR-15 pistols, maybe they don't use the type of round. However, if the ATF realizes that they have the power to very easily, without much resistance, change the rules, then who knows what rule they'll seek to change that.
The camel's nose? What's the connection there? I like that term.
Oh well, there's an old phrase called "it's the camel's nose under the tent," and basically a camel. If a camel wants to get in the tent, it won't come through the door. It'll just try to sneak in underneath the tent, and once the camel gets his nose under the tent, you pretty much lost the battle, and it's just going to slip right in.
Gotcha. He's in there. So about a minute here left. So, I mean, what can the president do at this point? He did this under an executive order, I believe. Or no, he actually just told the Bureau hey, you need to do this. It was a ban that he decided for them to pursue. I mean, how far can he take actions on his own?
Well, with regard to regulations, and regulation, the ability of an administrative agency to pass regulations is, really the fourth branch of government. And so if he directs the ATF or he directs his Department of Justice to direct the ATF, which is what the ATF is under, to start reviewing the rules and changing the rules, then the only way that it can be overridden is by an act of Congress.
Oh, so he can actually change more rules but he can't restrict the purchase of guns necessarily, right? You actually, just 10 seconds here, give me the answer to that one.
Yes, if there's a regulation pertaining to the purchase of a gun, he can have the ATF alter that rule to change it to say whatever he wants to say. Well, and the only remedy that the people have is to go to Congress and have them pass a law that overrides the ATF rule.
Edwin Walker, U.S. Law Shield. Edwin, thanks.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Good night, everyone.